YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. Tonight we have a Sony A95L review. I've had this TV for a little over 2 months now and we are officially past that annulment stage, right? The TV is past its return period and I would like to make this bit of content to mesh well with that. Okay. There's a lot of times where, we get TVs on YouTube and you get to see a lot of reviews when products are new, they're trending, they're hot. And, typically within a week or two, you're going to get a lot of different pieces of content and literature that comes out about a TV when it's being reviewed. Typically, the reviewer is going to process the way that they would test whatever the method is in a universal way that they typically would do. Like you get 4 or 5 TVs, you're going to look at the same content and you're going to speak from a place of what looks different from TV 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Well, in this case, I'm 2 months into owning the A95L. And within this video, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. We're going to talk about the runtime of the TV, how long I've utilized it, right? For the duration of time that I've owned it so far. We're going to talk about the type of content that I've used on it. We're going to talk about the audio setup, the type of external devices that I've had connected to this platform to make my life easier, to get the most out of this TV, what I've connected to it. And so this is the type of content that I believe would help a person either steer in the direction of this TV or steer in the direction going away from this thing, whether or not you want this thing or you don't want this TV. So I just wanted to set you up for the expectations of what you can expect here. We are going to have timestamps down in the description. There may be some B-roll content, or I might just take away the camera and go to a different direction to actually get you on the TV. This is not going to be set up entirely on the desk podcast style, but we're going to get this going right after this intro. All right, guys, so welcome back to the channel. I want to start off by looking at pricing for this TV. We're going to look at the largest United States electronic retailer, which is where I'm based. That's going to be Best Buy. After that, I believe Amazon will probably be your second pick in the states where you look to get this TV. So at this point, I'm just looking to gauge price points, right? Sony A95L, okay. So let's just take a look at this thing. Now, I've got this TV in 77-inch. It's a $5,000 TV in this space of what the size will cost. 65-inch. We've got some pre-Black Friday deals that's going. $3,500 is what the TV costs, which is good because that's $500 less than what the prior model cost. The A95K was $4,000 for 65-inch. I don't want to really compare other TV models within this piece of content. Let me get a little bit of light there so I can make sure you guys can see me. So yeah, 3,200 is what you're looking at. And that's going to be for the 65-inch class. Let me see if I click this. Will it allow me to go through different sizes? Okay. All right. So if we go 77-inch, this TV looks to be completely unavailable. $5,000, no sale though. So no sale price on the 77-inch. This TV does come available in 55-inch too, which was $3,000 last year. It's now $2,500. 28 is the retail. So not a $3,000 TV for a 55-inch, but a $2,500. So that's the Black Friday deal. So this kind of puts you in a position to inspect what you expect if, for whatever reason, this TV comes out to be something that you like. Your 65-inch, your 55-inch have already seen price cuts. So, the absolute earliest adopters like myself, like Stop the FOMO. I can't think of many other content creators that might have bought it with the intentions of like having it in their collection. Bought it and kind of is what it is. But as I said, the 77 still retaining its price point of $5,000. Probably see like a $4,500 price match. As you can see, you can get this thing for like open box for $38.97. That looks to be possible. That's freaking awesome. If you can get this TV for about $3,900 and there's nothing broken on it, you know, hopefully you can get the base. I think that'll be something great to look after. But that's what we're looking at from a price point perspective right now with the A95L 2 months into its lifespan. All right, guys. So this is my TV in all of its entirety, 77-inch A95L. I've probably invested a little bit more than 100 hours into entertainment with this TV. Now, I don't have an exact number, and one thing that disappoints me about this is because, you know, I've researched into the settings of the TV. The TV appears to only show you the up and running time, right? So it's not showing me exactly what like a full totality of the runtime and how I've utilized the TV. But I like to spend a little bit of time just to talk about what my experience has been. Also, I want to point out this is not a high fidelity video. We're not even shooting this or filming this in 4K. I'm using two different cameras. Right now I'm shooting with the Sony A6100 in 1080p 60, and at the desk I'm shooting with the Sony A6000 1080p 60 frames per second. So the intentions behind this video is to just be purposeful with giving you information, with talking points to build some foundation, just to kind of talk about my experience with the TV. So as I said, I've invested a little bit more than 100 hours with the TV. I've, you know, spent obvious time, you know, creating content from when I first got it. This has been the only model of this TV that I've owned. So all of the content that's been featured on the channel has obviously been invested into warming the TV and the panel up. It has not been professionally, externally calibrated. So there's been no device connected to it to take it to another level. It's just been out of the box with my own picture tampering settings to get me the experience that I have experienced up until this point, 2+ months into ownership with this bad boy. All right, so let's just take it back a little bit. Let's talk about this plus 100 hours I've talked about investing with this television. You know, this show right here, Boston Legal, I've been watching this, has James Spader as the leading character here. I stumbled across this show thanks to Lady Hera adding it to my Plex server after watching the magnificent show, The Blacklist, that had 10 seasons. And, you know, I kind of concluded Blacklist on this TV. So I got through season 9 and 10 using this TV, and then immediately jumped into watching this show. So as you can see, this is Plex. If you don't know, it is a conglomerate that puts me in a place where I can have kind of like a Netflix or a Hulu type of user interface where I can compile my content and I can watch my content. I am on season 3 of Boston Legal, episode 22. The yellow bar tells you where I'm at in the episode. And this is a comical show, so it's something I've been enjoying. The cool thing that I've been really enjoying about experiencing this show with this is not only is James Spader like literally the same person that he was in Blacklist, he's just got like the same kind of charisma that he's executing. So I'm a fan of his work, but this show is not in like high dynamic range. It's not in 4K. I do have it captured in 1080p, as you can see. If you look over to the right there, that's kind of speaking to that. So this is in 1080p. The audio is in 5.1. So the separates and everything, the sound stage is really nice to it. But it's not a show. It's not a piece of content that is going to try to simulate something that isn't everyday. This is more or less, you know, everyday content, right? Something broadcast, right? And so this has been an enjoyable experience. I've not only been entertained by the show for the reasons that I've mentioned while I'm watching it, but, you know, just the TV has done a great job of showing me like what good really looks like. Now, I said that I didn't want to really talk about other TV models within this video, and I don't, because I don't really want to compare. But what I will say is, like, when I go to bed, my bedroom driver is a 65-inch Sony A95K, and so essentially whatever I'm watching in the daytime or during the day here if I'm concluding watching an episode in the bedroom, I'm getting a very similar experience. And if you know, then, you know, we did a lot of comparisons having an A95K with this TV. So it's not a day-night difference, but there's some definite improvements on this TV. However, I'm still enjoying watching the same kind of content with the A95K also. So the processing and everything is just done really well with the TV, with content that isn't Dolby Vision, that isn't high dynamic range, that isn't 4K. Just regular content is the best way I can describe it. It's been doing a pretty good job. All right, so let's talk about the other side of the tracks. You know, we got all this runtime in a short period of time on this television. If it's not watching content that I've compiled, it's playing video games I've compiled. So similarly to Plex, I do have a front end that I use that is called Big Box on my gaming PC. And this pretty much puts me in a position where I can run all my content that I've got on my PC that has a multitude of different older platforms, okay? Platforms that came around when CRTs were a thing, like Sega Saturn, you know, Genesis, arcade platforms, a plethora of different shoot 'em ups and etc. Original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. You get the idea. This is how I use my A95L as of late. So I'm playing games that are not in high dynamic range. I'm playing games that are not in 4K, as well as I am playing games that do have those features. So I've been having an enjoyable experience, spending a lot of time gaming casually and doing some competitive gaming too. That's more on the side of if I'm playing like Street Fighter. I put some short videos up on the channel where I've been enjoying that. But the large bulk of my enjoyment has come from me just re-experiencing content, you know, in the gaming space. I'm probably more of like a 50-50 at this point of how the TV gets used. I do watch a lot of content. As I said, I was just binge watching that show. But beyond that, my TVs do get used a lot for gaming in that space. So yeah, this is, you know, it's been great. It's been a good, enjoyable experience. Stepping back a little bit to give you more of an overview shot, I do obviously have some home theater audio connected. This is not a theater room, and I do have the ceiling dome light up, so you do have some glare reflection coming off of the panel. But I have, since infancy, utilized a receiver on this television with a 5.2 system. We've done some content comparing the sound of the TV versus the audio system. There's obviously no comparison, but the TV audio wasn't the worst. If you are in a room where you've got control over the sound stage, if you've got the ideal setup would be 4 walls. If you've got any type of back open concept, I think the TV sound like much other TVs will leave something to be desired. But the TV does have a unique feature in which it can be utilized in a setup like this as a center speaker. I do still recommend having dedicated separates. Like you see, I got the center that's in between these two controllers that are sitting under the TV. But the TV does have a real cool feature in which it can be utilized as a center speaker. Now, you'd want to go in and modify the adjustments. You would want to go through whatever receiver that you use to adjust the sound quality so that you're not getting clipping. You know, high volumes, I've heard about the center speaker feature not being the absolute best, but I think for the most casual person that's just looking for something better, it does give you a little bit more uniformity and a complete experience overall. So it's been pretty good utilizing it in this way. Now, speaking also to the receiver that I am utilizing, I'm using a Denon receiver. A receiver of this caliber is pretty much a necessity for this television if you're planning on connecting more than, I'd say, 2 devices, depending on what the devices are. It just simplifies things a lot. I want to put this out there because I think you should be purposeful. If you're starting entirely fresh with building your system, I would definitely encourage you to look at any of the modern Sony receivers that will pair well with this TV. I'm not here to pitch specific models, but they've got 2, if not 3 different models that are on the market now that will offer you 4K 120/8K. I think that those are going to be the best options to combine with this TV. They'll give you the most uniformity. Things will just mesh well the best. But as I said, this receiver does give me 4K 120, 8K. This being a 4K TV, that's all that matters. But what I've got connected is going to be a PlayStation 5 over to the left, Nintendo Switch in the middle. And then we're also going to have my NVIDIA RTX 4090 gaming PC over to the right using an HDMI connection. Everything is going to be connected to the receiver, right, to pass through what I need. And lastly, we do have an Apple TV, and the Apple TV is going to actually be positioned right behind where we have the controllers that are to the left of the Nintendo Switch. I digress. Everything's connected to the receiver, and then there's one connection to the television. Now, the big thing that you'll hear a lot of people talk about, this TV does not function out. It doesn't function to have 4 HDMI 2.1s. If you are an owner of an Xbox Series X, a PlayStation 5, and a gaming PC, then there is an opportunity for you. I'll go as far as to say, even if you have an Apple TV 4K 2022 model, that can utilize a high frame rate. Although there's not a lot of content for it, the TV leaves something to be desired where you only have 2 connections. So again, going back to the point of this transition, this timestamp, you'd want to invest into some type of receiver or soundbar that will give you the adequate ports that you need to be able to pass things through, so that when you hit the TV, you have just a seamless connection. Now, to piggyback to what I was saying earlier, getting a Sony receiver makes things a little bit more simple for you. What it does is it makes it so that you don't have to use the remote for the receiver. There's only so much control you're going to get using the television remote through eARC, through the different sources. So again, I've got a gaming PC, I've got a PlayStation 5, I've got a Nintendo Switch, I've got an Apple TV 4K. All of those are not going to show up on the television, okay? The TV is only going to see entertainment, which is for Apple TV. It's going to see the PlayStation 5. It's going to see eARC. When I select eARC, that's selecting the receiver. From there, I have to use the remote for the receiver to be able to switch from the Nintendo Switch, no pun intended, or for the gaming PC. If I had a Sony receiver, this has been proven, all of those options would show up on my TV screen. So again, there's that uniformity I was talking about. So definitely plan out if you're going to do an external source of a receiver with some separates like I have. I would definitely encourage you going to Sony receiver if you just want everything to be nice and uniform. All right, guys, so I wanted to cover something with you that we talked about in the earlier transition here when I was saying that I want you to try to be purposeful and you picking which receiver would be good for you, okay? I want to explain exactly what I meant. I planned on doing some B-roll, but I just want to shoot all of this raw where I'm just talking about everything as it's happening, okay? So this is my gaming PC. We've got Mario RPG. This is a pretty damn good game, all right? Now with the emulator, it's running so good, guys. I mean, everything has just got nice pop to it, running at 60 frames. And we've got some internal upscaling that's happening that's giving me like beyond a 4K image, if you will. I digress. We've got it running on the PC. And then we also do have the game on Switch, in which right, so we got that connected. So I actually got the game running on Switch, and I gotta tell you that I've been playing this game for like the last week almost on the actual Switch, and this is what I'm playing on now. And sitting at like where my sweet spot is, this isn't really a talking point to like quality or fidelity, because I know I can look and see. You can't see with this camera the difference in quality and picture, but the point of this is, so if I am going to use the TV remote to switch inputs, I'm going to use the input button. Well, the input button is going to give me, as I said, PlayStation. As I can see right here, it says Nintendo Switch, it says eARC, and it says entertainment. You only really can get entertainment in PlayStation 5 seen on the actual TV. Now, if this was a PlayStation, or I'm sorry, a Sony receiver, then every single thing that was connected to the receiver, you would have an option for you to be able to see. Now, and that's because it would speak intimately to the TV to create that. In this instance, all I can really see if I didn't have the Nintendo Switch going, as you can see, I don't have the PC on here. All I have is eARC, right? So if I want to actually play on the PC or switch it, I'd have to hit what that input is on the receiver remote, hence the Denon, to be able to get to that, okay? So maybe a little melodramatic, but again, if you are going to be planning out a receiver, the absolute best option is going to get one by Sony. I don't know if that was their intentions. I mean, it is nice that you can get some control from some devices using the TV remote, but if you got a plethora, like if you're lining up older consoles or devices to your receiver, your Denon, your Yamaha, you know, your Marantz, you know, your Onkyo, etc., then you're definitely going to still need to utilize their remote. If you want everything to run through the TV using the TV remote, again, if you just want to be able to hit input and pull everything up, then you've got to get yourself a different option from Sony directly. So just wanted to kind of point that out for you guys specifically. All right, well, up to this point, as you can see, I've shot a lot of this content in the living room in front of the A95L. And then the other half, I wanted to kind of get to the desk and be able to speak to you guys just about a couple of different things. The reality is this TV is priced in a space where it's for a specific consumer, like all TVs. Let's just keep in mind, TVs are not a necessity. And there are a lot of great options that you can buy into that are not going to be as expensive as this one, that you can tweak and you can modify and you can have, I want to say equally as good an experience. But for the community of people that, you know, would rather buy into this TV, like, let's just keep in mind the 77-inch of this TV, as I was showing you earlier in this video, is sold out. It's sold out, guys. It's not coming soon. It's out. It's been out for a couple of months and it's sold out, right? At 5 Gs, man. You know what I mean? So that tells you that there's a lot of people seeing value into that. There's a lot of value into that specific model. Again, keeping in mind, A95K, I keep referencing and saying that I don't want to compare TVs, but I have to reference that for perspective. 65-inch was 4 Gs last year, okay? 65-inch S95B was like 3 Gs last year also. So $5,000, you get the first generation 2 77-inch QD OLED from Sony, right? It comes with everything that Sony offers the TV. Now, you can like Sony, you can not like Sony, but the package comes at a premium price and it's a premium design and a premium product too. It's built, in my opinion, collectively better than just about every other TV. I think the G3 is built. I like the way the G3 is built. I can't really say which is built better, but the G3 does have that one frame like design. But I do like the grid system and the way that Sony looks. It works personally for me. But this thing comes with a great heat sink. It comes with audio classifications that put you in a position where you can build it into a premium system by way of having separates. Either you can do a receiver or you can just buy into some of the proprietary systems that they do have, even going as far as to getting like a sound bar. We did feature on the channel the A5000 last year. We'll bring it back to the channel if you guys are interested in seeing it, but they have the more higher echelon A7000. Doesn't look like they've refreshed those sound bars, but you can incorporate the TV's audio into that with it being a center and then you using the bar for like some different separation. So there's some innovative approaches that they've had with this TV that I think work to be really well, and they're very purposeful. You know, and then down to the TV being a masterclass. What that means essentially is that the panel style has been handpicked and, you know, tweaked and soft calibrated, if you will, from the factory to give you a clearer representation of what they intend for you to see when you're watching general content. The TV's got some pretty nice preset bases inside of it, which I think don't take a ton of work. All TVs are going to take a little bit of work. If you go Vivid with anything, then everything's just blasted up. But I think these TVs take the least amount of work to get the right feel for the general consumer. But that's just my opinion. I can only review a product based on how I see it and how it fits into my lifestyle, and it happens to be the best TV that I've seen. Now, if we go down to experience, because I think that tells a lot, right? This year I've invested into G3, S95C, S90C. I've invested into an ultra wide monitor, TCO Q7, Hisense U7K, and then the A95L. So I've had some great options put in front of me this year, all bought by myself, none sponsored, none given. So, and I've offered none at a discount or partnered with no company to sell you one of these at a lower price. So my opinion is really my own. This TV, you know, has been one of the best. It has been collectively the best looking TV that I've ever seen, that I've ever owned. I'll just say that I've owned. I've never owned an 8K TV. I've seen some, but you know, for everything that I've always equipped myself with, this is the best looking option. And then I think they've done a great job for gaming, right? I can't forget to speak about the gaming piece. As I said, it's about 50-50 for me. I've played some AAA titles and a lot of old school content from a gaming perspective on my A95L, and it's just done me really well. I love latency, the low latency, the fact that the game bar that did get integrated into their algorithm of their system, right, last year. So that is something that's on the A95K and some of the other models from last year. The game bar is a good, it's late, but it's good. It works great. And the thing does a good job. The TV does a good job of gaming on PC at 120 hertz. It doesn't do 144 hertz, but it just gives me everything that I've needed. So I wanted to, you know, put this content together. Like I said, we're past the annulment, so there's no turning back now at this point. I did invest in a 5-year warranty for my TV, so I'm in it for the long haul. And 77-inch has been a sweet spot for me for the last 2.5, almost 3 years now. We've went from C1 to S95C this year, which I got and I'm in front of now, and now to the A95L. So not thinking that I need to get a bigger size TV. Hopefully I can get a couple of years out of this one and can continue to enjoy it. That's what I got. I want to know what you guys think. I tried to compile this together to make it one smooth transition, and hopefully it brought you some joy. If it did, show some support. Yes, let's get some engagement going. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about if this TV isn't for you. What's the best TV for you? I'm here to answer any questions. If you happen to have some, leave them in the comment section, and I'm going to catch you on the next video, okay? Peace, God bless, and as always, tell y'all, man, max love. We out.